All right, so there's a real good chance we're gonna miss school again. Not guaranteed, but we might miss class again on Thursday. So we're gonna do a little work ahead of time, or I'm gonna give you like an actual online project this week. That's not just. I mean, the last project was important, but this one is directly applicable to this project and can benefit you with this project. And this is something that you would probably run into, if you're at an agency or if you're on an assignment to go shoot or to put together something that involved being on location somewhere, or meeting with, maybe you're not able to have a meeting with somebody, or you're not able to get onto location with where you need to shoot. What can you do in the meantime for this project? Because it's a big project and it's important. So the more we can do now, instead of just sitting around twiddling our thumbs, the better it's going to be sort of the end. And this might save you a little time at the tail end of this project. Instead of waiting, we're going to go ahead and do it now, or at least go through the motions of doing it. It's something that can change or be modified, obviously, but and I'm sure you've all heard of post-production, which is special effects and things like that. Special effects, color correction, things like that. So what we're going to do now is actually called pre-production, where we're going to do everything we can to prepare for the shooting of this video. Now, you've already done a lot of pre-production. You've done your storyboards, you've done your schedules, you've looked at your equipment, you've thought about those sort of things, you made your equipment lists. So you've done all that. So now we're gonna. So we have a productive week this week. We're gonna do another aspect of pre-production, which we're gonna actually dig in there and we're gonna dig in there and start working on some graphics for your video. So that way it'll be done. It's usually something that happens at the end of the sort of one of the last exercises you do after you're done shooting, but in this case we're going to go ahead and jump on it now so we can get some stuff done. Okay, so sorry, I had to go sledding, so now it's kind of dark in here. It's dark outside. Sledding was fun. I'm too old for that, but let's do this exercise, and I'll show you exactly what to do. If you're working in Adobe Premiere and you don't have any footage to work with, the first thing you're going to have to do is create a new sequence. So you go to File, New Sequence. And one of the reasons I'm doing a video is so that you can stop and rewind as you need to. So I'm going to kind of fly through some of this stuff. So stop, new sequence, and yeah, it looks fine for a demo. Yeah, okay. So there's our sequence. Here's our program sequence, which is our program window, which we need to have open. I'm not sure about this, if we need it at all, but I don't think so right now. So I want to get as much space in here so I can see. And what I'm going to do is go down the text tool, and I'm going to type some text. And so I'm going to start with my three call outs. One of them, let's say it's a local restaurant, so I'm going to say quality ingredients. And then, as we all know, we are, just because we're working a video, oh my gosh, okay. Just because we're working a video doesn't mean we stop being graphic designers. So we need to find where our Essential effect controls are, yeah, over there. So there's our effect controls, which I'm going to undock this panel. And we need to start looking at fonts. So just because you're working in video doesn't mean you have to use lousy system fonts. So find something that is cool and is kind of nice and easy to read, big and bold. I like to use Comet generally if I'm doing this sort of thing, and start out with a bold. I might make it heavy. That looks pretty good. So quality ingredients, I'm going to go ahead, stay over here. I'm going to keep this effect controls window open and make it nice and big. Quality ingredients. Am I going to make that 2 lines? Yeah, I like that. I'm going to make it 2 lines. Now, I'm a graphic designer, so what am I going to do here? I'm going to tighten that up. I'm going to tighten that leading up, aren't I? So down here, we go down to the leading and tighten that up, right? Because we're going to bring another line in that is maybe similar font, and you know, this could also be like a fun font. You know, what does that one look? Yeah, not that. You know, something kind of a little more. Yeah, that's not what I was going for. But play around, look around. Don't just accept the first font that spits out at you. I don't have a lot of fonts loaded in my school Premiere, so I'm just gonna stick with Comet. But I encourage you to, you know, work with something. Now, what font should it not be? It should not be a font that's used in your logo, contrary to many students' popular belief. You do not need to repeat the font that your logo uses just because it's used in your logo. As a matter of fact, it's bad form to do. It's a very unprofessional thing to do. So we're not going to do that. So what's my secondary? My subhead is fresh local produce. Quality ingredients, fresh local produce. Produce, and see, I made a separate text box for this one because it's gonna behave differently now. Do I want it to look exactly like that? No, I don't, because I'm a graphic designer. So I'm gonna give it a little bit different look to it. Maybe a little less bold. Maybe the same font. Maybe. Oh wait. Okay. I thought I was on the. Yeah. You got to make sure you're in the right. Make sure you're in the right text thing here. So one of them is fresh local produce. One of them is quality ingredients. So I'm gonna, just so I can keep those sorted, I'm gonna put one on top of the other, make it easier to keep track of. So let's look at fresh local produce. It's a mistake I make all the time. Let's start out regular. See how it looks. Let's make it even lighter. Light. Yeah, there we go. Let's make it smaller. Let's try that. So it kind of falls in right below that one. I like that kind of thing. So we're going to use this as a template for the next 2 that we do, because we need to have at least 3, right? So what we're going to do now is we're going to zoom out of this a little bit. Yeah, like that. You can, many different ways to do that. I'm using my mouse to do it. So we've got fresh local produce. And we've got quality ingredients. Quality ingredients is the main one. Fresh local produce is the secondary subhead. And well, we want movement. So we're going to have them move like this onto the screen and sort of settle in. And then this one's going to move, say, from this side of the screen on to settle in. So, and this is on another video in this course, but I just want you to work on this specific part this week. So I'm kind of doing it again. Oh, and I hit play by accident. So let's go and drag this out a little bit. So, all right. So the first thing I want to do is I want to start off screen with both of these, but I want to have a landing spot. So, I keep one of them out there for a landing spot. I want them to be aligned left. Yours do not have to be aligned left, but that's just the way I'm doing it for this. So I'm going to start off screen with this one. And this is where I'm going to bring in these. So I'm going to make sure I'm still under, I'm under fresh. I need to be under quality ingredients. Okay, that's just, think of this like this is the graphic that I'm working with, okay? So my position is right there right now. So I'm going to use that keyframe thing that we did before, and I'm going to mark the starting position with a keyframe so you can see it over here. So position, I'm going to mark right there. That's at the beginning, the very beginning. You can see the beginning of the timeline. And then I'm going to move this down a little bit. And then I'm going to move the position of this until it is stopped where I want it to stop. And then you can see this will move if I hit play really slowly. So let's speed that up a little bit. That's extremely slow. So to speed it up, we just bring these closer together. We may want to view this a little wider maybe so that we can see how slowly it moves. There we go. So we're bringing these two keyframes closer together to make the speed faster, okay? So now it's a little bit faster, still not quite fast enough, okay? So let's tighten it up even more, and there we go, that's better. Now, let's do fresh local produce. I'm going to tighten this up a little bit so I don't have to deal with all that nonsense. Let's do fresh local produce and pull it off. I don't think I need anything over here, but I'm going to pull it off screen. Again, I'm holding down the shift key to keep everything straight, so I know my landing spot's going to be right here. So let's mark the beginning for, we almost messed up. So now we're not on quality ingredients, we're on fresh local produce. So let's go down there and go to our position and mark our position, starting position off screen, and then go down the timeline to about the same, so that we get it about the same speed, about the same spot as quality ingredients. Oh, we're moving the other way. Okay, there we go. We're going to bring it right there, holding down shift. And then we've got them both sort of coming in at the same time, landing there together. Now, that's the basic idea of it. We're going to want to, I don't know if you guys remember in the last assignment from last semester when we built a little mountain with our keyframe velocity. So we're going to do that. I want that to be a part of what you regularly do. And I'm going to teach you the absolute most basic, you should probably remember, most basic way to do it. So I'm going to say, I'm going to right click on this one. Well, let's click down now. And now, am I in quality ingredients? Yes. So I'm going to right click on this little diamond shape and say ease out. And then I'm going to click on this little diamond shape and say ease in. And you'll see a little bit of a difference, the way it moves and the way it lands especially. So you see now. So it's still not quite what I want to happen, but let's go ahead and do that with local. Well, let's go ahead and finish quality ingredients first. So what we're going to do here is we're really going to tweak this little curve here to be more of a mountain. So the idea is you come in fast and you slow down and then you land smoothly. So it's going to speed up, slow down, and then land and get a little fast again. So let's see how that looks. Just quality, there we go. Quality ingredients, that was a little bit fast. So let's pull it back a little bit like to there. See how that looks. And this is just something you got to tweak to according to your preferences, how you like it. But I don't want it to just be sort of a dry moving in and moving out. It should have some velocity controls on there. That's really herky-jerky, so let's pull that back a little bit. Smooth it out a little bit. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing here. So. Yeah, that looks kind of cool. Just play around with it. Let's see what you like. Maybe it needs to be in the middle. Yeah, that's a little better. Maybe in the middle, yeah. I like that. So it's not just a generic move in, it has a little something to it. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. Fresh local produce. We're going to affect these velocities, but first we're going to open them up to being edited by saying ease out and then ease. Oh, let's change this. Let's try this one, ease in, and this one, ease out. See what that looks like. Now we drop this down here. Okay, well, that's different. Let's just see what it looks like straight out of the gate. Pretty generic. So now we can play around with it. Ooh, it's not a very good curve, is it? So maybe we we can do something with it maybe. Let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah, it's kind of cool. They're coming in at different times, but they're still landing together. Maybe I can get that a little faster in there. Yeah, something like that. So like I said, you play around and see what you want to do with your movement. Like I said, I don't want it to just be generic out of the box movement. I want it to show that you've done something with velocity like this, something that looks a little more professional kind of thing. So, and I'm going to come back in a minute after I check all these crazy messages. So what I want you to do is do what I just did 3 times. So as you can see, I've got 3 different texts down here: meet your neighbors, quality ingredients, nightly entertainment. I've got 3. Those are 3 call outs or whatever you want to call them. And I want them to be moving in just like that. I want them stacked up. I want them stacked up in your timeline just like this. And we're going to just kind of hold on to those until we get our footage shot, but you'll have them done. And you can adjust them. You can change the wording. It's real easy to change the wording if you decide you want to change it, and you just do that. And then you have that moving in. So, yeah, like that. So, anyway, I want you to do it 3 times. I not only want them moving in, but I also want them moving out. Like that. And then the next one coming in. And then moving out. And the next one moving in. And then moving out. So what did you notice about when they moved in? So I want you to look at this part of the effect controls as it goes down the timeline. When they move in, bloom, and they move out. So these 2 keyframes are doing what? They're holding it still. They're in the same position numbers, and that means they're holding it still. Students have a tendency to move it in and then rush it out before anybody even has a chance to read it, and it's like you got to give it a few beats. So, and I want you to like watch your video, actually watch what you're doing and say, read it out loud. So read it out loud. Meet your neighbors. A vibe for everyone. Cool. Quality ingredients. Fresh local produce. Awesome. Nightly entertainment. Live bands, karaoke, and trivia. What? All right. So you get the idea. Make it readable. You may have to hold a couple of them in there for a little longer. That just means spread these out. Keep it in there longer. It's okay. These 3 don't have to be exactly the same. They should be similar. They should sort of have the same vibe. But they obviously they're different words. They're different lengths of words. They're going to behave differently when they move in and move out. So you need to adjust accordingly. Keep them similar. All right, that's all I got. Go sledding.
Just gotta go for it.
Go for it. You can do this. Everything hurts.
This is Sparta!
Oh, you left that down there.